Blah, blah, blah. What's up, y'all? It's Marcellus Wiley, that dude. We got to talk about Shedeur Sanders right now and how shocked, surprised, or how stupid it was he didn't get drafted in the first round. Now, I was watching the draft for one reason. It wasn't to watch Cam Ward go number one to the Titans. I knew that was going to happen. It wasn't to see a team get thirsty like my Jaguars did and go out there and get Travis Hunter, a beast. It was to see where Shedeur Sanders was going to land. You want to know why? Because of the love-hate relationship we have with this player's game and personality, and the love-hate relationship people have with his father, Deion Sanders. I wanted to see where all that was going to go, where that was going to land. And I know y'all did too, so beat it up in the comments. Right before the draft started, I was sitting at a table full of people saying, oh, it's about to go. Where's Shedeur going? And I said it right then. I said, I don't think he's going today. I think he's going to be a second rounder. Didn't put any money on it. Didn't yell it to the heavens. Didn't go to Vegas. But at the same time, something told me he's not going in the first round. Now, I know he wasn't there in Green Bay, so it wasn't going to be a bro hug from the commissioner. But still, when was his name and his face was going to flash on that television screen? It never did. And I knew it was not going to happen because of these reasons. One, Shedeur didn't go to the draft. And let's be real. If we're going to stay on brand, we're going to stay on personality with Shedeur and his father. If they knew they were going to be the top dog, if they knew that they were going to be guaranteed to win those top slots, they would have been in Green Bay. But he wasn't. So now he didn't go to the draft, which is all brand. And we got to remember that personality only comes before production in the dictionary. Not in real life, not in the NFL. And there were so many conversations about Shedeur Sanders' personality that I knew it was going to become an issue. Say it to you again. Personality only comes before production. Shoot, let's say potential as well in the dictionary. I've seen too many guys who had game that was questioned, whether it was right or wrong. It was questioned, a borderline game between good and great. Yeah, you're good, but you're not great enough, right? You're not good enough. So they start to question you, and people were saying stuff like, well, he has average arm strength. He has average athleticism. How does that translate to the NFL? Well, if you get picked high, you go to a bad team. You go to a bad team, you're going to have to out-athlete a lot of those experiences until they could build around you a good team. That's why it's difficult for a guy to make that transition, no matter who he is at the quarterback position, especially if you drafted at the top. But when you have average tangibles, people are going to question, can you make that transition and make it fast? So I heard all of this. I saw all this. And I was like, this ain't going to add up for anything good for him. Now, no one should be crying for Shedeur Sanders. And it seems like Shedeur is not even crying. No one is dooming his career. Think about it. He could still be the GOAT. You know who else had questionable tangibles? The GOAT, Tom Brady. You know who else has some question marks about his tangibles? The GOAT before the GOAT, Joe Montana, right? A third rounder, pick 199. We know that this does not limit who Shedeur Sanders can be. But what it does is give him, as they say, a chip on his shoulder, a little extra fuel, which I always question. Look, it sounds great in storyline. It sounds great to all you guys out there watching from afar. But to the athlete, were you going to be any more motivated to go out there and be your best? Oh, you're going to be 101% now, 110% now because they slighted you? You already worked so hard to get to this moment. You think you're about to just go up in there and chill? You're just going to give it 90%, 100%? Nah, you're going to give it your all no matter what. So I didn't get caught up in all this chip on my shoulder, fuel, motivation. I hope you were going to work the same as if you got picked number one, if you get picked 100. So I don't believe that storyline, but I do believe in this. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when expectations are so high and you can't meet them, even if those expectations are not real. Even if those expectations are false, they're on shaky ground. So I'll give you a story, because 28 years ago, I was drafted, right? And you think about it, a lot of times these expectations is actually dooming these guys in their entry into the NFL. Like all this draft hype and this draft analysis gets you gassed up, and you get so pumped up, and sometimes you get locked into what they're saying that you forget this is a dream come true no matter how you enter the NFL. I know it sounds like, all right, man, here you go, trying to sell me a good story. But the reality of it is, it starts now whenever you get picked. The GOAT, 199. Who cares if you're going to go 36, 40, whatever it may be. So they doom a lot of these guys and they make these guys feel condemned because they didn't go where they were supposed to go. When who the hell are you to tell me where I was supposed to go? Like, you're no expert. Think about it. Mel Kiper had him as high as #1 on some mock boards, #3 on mock boards. Mel Kiper gets it wrong all the time. No slight to Mel Kiper, but dog, don't lock in. They told me I was going to be picked 15. I remember reading it. New York Times says Marcellus Wiley, number 15. And you know what I said? Shit, I ain't believing that. You ain't going to make me feel bad when pick 16 happens. I ain't heard my name yet. Nope. So you can't get locked in on that. And it looks like Shedeur is not locked in on that. But what he is locked in is the fact that a lot of eyes are on him. A lot of attention is on him. And let's just talk about how that must feel. You know, he's sitting there, him and Shiloh, and we see the videos of them going back and forth and trying to make light of the situation and obviously saying they're going to be fully motivated, which they were going to be regardless of where they're drafted because that's who they're built to be. You got to feel bad for these guys because it's not just about their game. And let's talk about it. When you talk about Shedeur, you got to bring up Deion. And of all the families we saw and everyone getting drafted, from Cam Ward looking understated in his suit to some of those guys looking super flashy, big parties looking like they at the frat house, family everywhere, aunties everywhere, there was one person that knew that this was different. One person who'd been through that experience before, and that was Deion Sanders. And I remember watching last night, and I was looking at Deion be the only person of all these people who had to talk like this, who couldn't even show his lips because he knew all eyes were on him. Well, because all eyes are on him, all eyes were on his son, and they were hypercritical. Yes, so critical of his son that there's a lot of paralysis by analysis. People are stuck. What to do? Average arm strength. What to do? Average athleticism. What does the tape say? What does the film say? What does the game say? It says he was out there eating. He was out there balling without a running game, without an offensive line, but yeah, taking some sacks. Same time, no prospects perfect. But boy, were they perfectly trying to condemn this guy. Hypercritical. I think Shedeur just suffered from that borderline crisis that a lot of people fought for. It's when you are good, damn good, but are you elite? Are you great? And if not, they get you caught up in the middle. I leave you on this story right here because people didn't know how to do this when I was getting drafted 28 years ago. I got drafted in the 2nd round. Jason Taylor got drafted in the 3rd round. Yes, I said Jason Taylor, the Hall of Famer who hit the ground running, who was a beast from hello. And you can see that from his college film. You can see that from his workouts, etc. But the problem was he got caught in the tweener lane. I think that's what's happening right here with Shedeur. When you're a tweener, when you're right between good and great, right between two different positions, they didn't know what to do with Jason Taylor. And they drafted him after me. When I literally was telling all my boys, dog, I don't know who in the hell is grading these prospects, but somebody picking me before him, that was my boy. I was like, dog, you are insane. I don't know what they're looking for. Well, Shedeur, just know it's not always you that's crazy. Sometimes they insane. Who knows what they're looking for? But you better be looking forward to your NFL career. Go get that thing. Boy, boy, boy.